Refrigerant recovery is the foundation for life cycle refrigerant management, as without safe refrigerant recovery, there cannot be reclamation or reuse. A-Gas Rapid Recovery is an on-site refrigerant recovery service that gives businesses an easy way to contain their used refrigerants.
Not a whole lot of companies do what we do. We handle some of the grunt work that they don't want to do, and we can do it 10 times as fast as they can. The recovery portion, cylinder exchanges, and buying back used material that otherwise can't be used.
We play a big role with our contractors, whether that be HVAC, mechanical, or demolition contractors. Our whole purpose is to get on site and not only help them save money in the project, but offer an environmental solution.
We do not want any of these products getting vented to atmosphere, no matter how low the GWP is. Now it's not only the cylinder to recover the product, but it's making sure the technicians have equipment that are rated to work with flammable gases. That's really important for people.
So by us being able to contain it in cylinders, reclaim it, we're saving the environment one recovery at a time.
My name is Mike Idle. Today I wanted to give you an overview of Amatrol's T7300 HVAC control system. This system is designed to align a hands-on workstation, as you see here, along with interactive curriculum to teach the operation, installation, application, and troubleshooting of control systems related to the HVAC industry. As components and features of HVAC systems get smarter in both the residential and commercial fields, it's important for current and future HVAC technicians to be trained up. What types of circuits are used, familiarity, learning, operation, maintenance, troubleshooting are all important areas to cover in that.
Here at NAVAC, we are obsessed with delivering the best HVAC tools on the market. Our tools are built for professionals and engineered for precision, just like Harley-Davidson motorcycles. NAVAC Nation, it's time for you to feel the power both on and off the job site. Let's stand up in our pursuit of perfection. From coast to coast, NAVAC forges the path forward. Wherever you are, we will be right beside you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again on Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show. Man, have we got an exciting story to tell you today. A few stories, actually. As we start talking about our industry, yes, we spend a lot of time talking about technology. We talk about the transitions with inverter technology. We talk about the refrigerant transitions. We really need to be spending a fair amount of time talking about recruitment. We are all aware of the shortage of technicians that we have in the industry, and we're looking for ways to properly recruit. And today we have such a phenomenal representation of a program that is just getting amazing success. So we've got John Hirsch and Greg Olson joining us today. How's it going, guys?
Hey, great, Clifton. Thanks for having us.
Now, this is a wonderful thing for us to talk about. We get a lot of questions about best practices for recruiting, especially our younger minds, which is really a big focus of what we're here for today. And everyone, let us know where you're joining in from. I'm here in the mobile studio in Brownsburg, Indiana. Where are you guys joining us from today? Greg, where are you at today?
Sorry,
I thought you were asking me. I'm calling in from the.
Waiting for our cats to come in. I should have done a better job of that. I thought it froze for a minute. I'm like, oh, what did I just do?
Well, we're off to a rocking start here. Yeah, I'm calling in from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area of Minnesota, so just north of the Twin Cities.
And I'm joining from Hartford, Wisconsin, just north of Milwaukee, so Midwest.
Very cool. So we started having this conversation. Renee actually introduced me to both of you guys because she got super excited about the program that you were running, and when she told me about it, I thought, wow, that seems like a lot. Let me make sure this is actual correct numbers. And you guys have done such a phenomenal job that I was hoping that we could share with the audience, which is a lot of educators joining us, of how you're so successful with this program. So you're from Auer Steel. Tell me a little bit about your company. Let's start there.
I'll go ahead. So Auer Steel, we've been in business since 1940. We're a third generation family owned business. Our second generation owner is still our CEO, a gentleman named Don Curtis. Our business is currently run by his three sons, Mike, Joe, and Jeff Curtis. We're Midwest based. We have 9 locations throughout Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota. 300 employees. We're the Bryant and Carrier and AirQuest and Payne are our main brands of HVAC equipment. And we service roughly 270 Bryant, Carrier, and AirQuest dealers throughout our footprint. And then, of course, any HVAC contractor that might need material, equipment, supplies related to HVAC systems. Full service distributor, very focused on training, service, and dealer development.
Fantastic. Well, that's the reason we wanted to have this conversation. Our industry is uniting. We always talk about this HVAC community. We have this village of professionals that are all starting to gather, which is an amazing thing. We'll be gathering at the National HVACR Education Conference here in just a few weeks. We were just talking about that before the show, where we have educators from around the country that join. We've seen a development of equipment manufacturers now spending time in training, investing into this industry. When we talk about distributors, I came from a distributor that did technical training. I don't think it had the importance that Auer Steel has given to training, because what you guys are doing is a standout program that I think it should be duplicated in the entire country.
We do too.
When you said that you were willing to share this, this topic with the industry, I thought, okay, we have to do this. So as a distributor, you approach things very uniquely, especially with the age group. So tell me a little bit about the HVAC career story.
Greg, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so I just want to start off by saying that the leadership of Auer Steel really supports what we do, and the fact that we get out and we believe that a rising tide lifts all ships. Yeah, and so we're going to work with the folks. We don't care if they're Bryant dealers or not. I guess is what we're trying to say, is that we're going to work with anybody. And if we want to get kids interested in the careers of HVAC. We want to plant seeds early. So, like if you want shade somewhere, you better plant the tree 30 years ago, right? Well, we're all planting seeds, John and I. And this cover story that you see right here, this brochure, is a nice leave behind piece that we leave with our students. It talks about pay, benefits, day in the life of HVAC type things. It's really a powerful, fantastic piece. And what I really like about it is on the back cover, John and I have our contact information. And we invite all our students to reach out to us if they want to do a ride along or a job shadow, or if they want information on scholarships. If they'd like to look for a job, we can certainly help place them. So we do everything we can to try and get them interested in the trades.
This is pretty cool. So you have a 4-page flyer that you're sending out to schools. We're not just talking about a few schools. We're talking about a bunch of schools. And I'll come back to the screen at the end so that everyone can connect with John and Greg to learn more, because I think you're all going to be incredibly intrigued about this. So there's the brochure. Let's talk a little bit about what you're actually doing with these schools and with the students.
Well, so we do a number of things. Greg and I together, we serve on 15 different technical colleges, HVAC curriculum advisory boards. So we're very, very involved at the college level, and that's throughout Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and then North Dakota. And we're very, very active. We try to visit each program that we participate with annually to meet with the new cohort of students. And when we're in the classroom, some of the things we talk about are what we know is important to our contractor clients. What are they looking for in their prospective future employees? And so we talk about things like employability skills, being nice, being on time. Certainly the skills, their HVAC knowledge base will be important as well. But honestly, a lot of our clients, they're looking for good people that have the willingness to learn, and they'll teach them everything that they need to know, ideally, to really thrive and prosper in an HVAC profession. And it's so fun because I always say you have to have a seat at the table. So Greg and I also work very hard to get our clients, our dealer partners, to also participate with the local university. So rarely do I go and meet with a technical college without having one of our contractor partners there with us. And honestly, Clifton, if Greg and I weren't encouraging them and, taking away any apprehension or fear they may have, they might not do it, but we give them, that peace of mind and confidence. And it's amazing the relationship that some of our clients have built with the local tech colleges as a result of that.
It changes everything, doesn't it? That Howard, our president, you're speaking directly to his heart. Just like you were talking about how we change the industry, right? You have to plant that seed. And as industry professionals, we are the ones that can make a difference in the schools. You'll hear people complain about the output of a school. Then you ask them, well, how much involvement did you have? How many advisory committees did you attend? How many contractors did you connect the school to? How many distributors did you connect the school to? And it's usually, we have to do that. That's how you make a difference. And this is an exact example of how it makes a difference. And this is just an exciting thing for me, and I hope it is for everybody else.
Well, in Clifton, it's such a modest commitment. I mean, it really is.
Right.
It's basically 2 advisory board meetings a year, usually in the spring and the fall, and then one day visiting the students, typically an hour to an hour and a half in the classroom. But think about it. Our audience is 20 young adults who have decided to make a career in the HVAC profession. So Greg and I were meeting them. We give them that same brochure. They have our contact information. And I'll tell you, I call it having the pick of the litter, because we're meeting these students and the teachers know how hard we work to help them find the best opportunities. And so we get the opportunity to redirect these kids to the best employers that are going to, provide them the best opportunities. But we also are there to help our contractors. Like one of the things that we talk to the students about is labor efficiency, which we know how vital that is for contractors. So I'll ask the students, when you get your first job and you're working 8 hours a day, how many of those hours do you want to get paid for? And I say, it's not a trick question. And the answer is, of course, all of them.
All of them.
And I ask, okay, now how many of those hours that they're paying you will your new employer get paid for having you on the payroll? And most of them say all of them. And the answer is, well, actually, no, about 50% of them. So it gives us an opportunity to educate the students on labor efficiency and why it matters to their future employers. It's an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, you're not just teaching them about HVAC. You're talking to them about life choices. It's that first step in mentorship.
Yep.
And that's really what we are. As educators, just as professionals in the industry, we are stewards of the next generations of technicians, and we all have the opportunity to be involved. You don't have to be an educator only to be in an advisory board. You could be a salesperson. You could be in engineering. You can be in so many different aspects that can make a difference. And the level of difference that can be made is proven in this. Tell me about this.
Greg, why don't you share about some of our outreach?
So this is a piece that our team put together just to demonstrate our level of involvement in the industry. And of course, you'll see 69 high schools and colleges reached through outreach events, 49 different high schools, almost 8,000 students that we've connected with. And then we also offer this full day high school workshop, which is a really, really fun thing. We do it at our Woolworth in Milwaukee, our Woolworth Center, and we also do it in Plymouth, Minnesota at our Minnesota branch. And we bring in up to a dozen kids, maybe 14 kids, for a full day seminar where we teach them the basics of electricity. We have them do a copper assembly build, which I think we're going to talk about in a little bit here. Mm-hmm. and what's really fun is we put them in the lab with a furnace in teams of anywhere from 2 to 4 kids. We hand them a couple of tools and we say, let's tear this furnace apart. And they tear that furnace down to the cabinet. And when they're all done, we say, guess what? You get to put it back together now. And they put it back together, and then they put it on a cart. We roll it up, hook it up to gas, and see if we can't get that thing to run. And I'll tell you, the looks on their faces when those furnaces fire up is really, really cool. We feed them. We have a good time. And, we have them out of there by 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's a full day, but it is really a powerful, powerful thing.
And the most amazing thing is we're not talking about high school seniors, right?
No.
Tell us a little bit, because we need to share like just what you guys have done today. Like we were going to have this whole conversation, and before the show, I'm like, how are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we each of you came from schools. So what age groups do you focus on?
Well, I mean, we've had way more success with high school kids, so freshmen to seniors, but we're starting to make some inroads with middle schools. And honestly, our experience has been that if we can get to the students earlier at the middle school level, we have a better opportunity to at least inform them of our profession and maybe have some of those kids choose HVAC as a career pathway. It seems like a lot of students, once they're in high school, a lot of their minds are made up. So today and earlier this week, I visited 2 middle schools, and it's an entirely different experience, but super fun. Whereas Greg, you were at high schools, right, today?
I was at high school today, so I saw everywhere from freshmen to seniors.
Wow. And see, exactly like you had mentioned, by the time they get in high school, now we have advisors, student advisors that are starting to ask those questions. Where do you want to go to college? What profession do you want to do? Versus if you can get in the middle school before they've even had that impression put in their mind that is their only option, you give them the ability to start thinking about the trade and not just like discussing the trade. Tell me about what you're doing in these 8th and 9th grade classes.
Well, I'll share with you what I did today. So today I was at a middle school. I had 4 groups of 20 kids, all 8th graders, and they could choose from, I think, 10 different career professions to attend 4 30-minute sessions. And so I had roughly 80 kids, and they chose to be in a session on HVAC, which was just classic. In the first session,
in one day.
In one day. So the first session, this little guy comes in, and his name's Nick. I just know because I met him today. He was so jazzed. And he comes in, he's like, is this the HVAC session? I mean, this kid's in 8th grade. And I'm just laughing. And the teacher's aide who was there to help me, she goes, yeah, this is HVAC. He goes, oh, good, because the brochure said it was construction, and I want to learn about HVAC. I'm thinking, how does a little 8th grade young kid, already have that enthusiasm and passion? And it was like that for the remaining 3 sessions. I'd have kids come in that specifically wanted to know about the HVAC profession, and most of the kids that expressed that interest. One little guy, his father was a journeyman electrician. Another young man, his uncle does HVAC. He's actually kind of a handyman, but also does HVAC. And so this guy was there because that, of all the things that he's done with his uncle, he was most enthusiastic about doing HVAC.
Yeah. Let me tack onto that with one quick thing also. So the way we get into schools is a lot of just grassroots efforts, right? Either a dealer tells us they want to get into a high school in their own town, or we're just reaching out to teachers. But when we're in the school and the teacher sees what we do, the next year we get invited back. And so these kids, we may see kids 3-4 times over the course of a few years, and they're getting that same message reinforced every year.
Good point, Greg.
Yeah.
And Greg, maybe talk about the activities we do. Talk about the 45-minute and then the block session, what we're offering in terms of hands-on activity.
I think we had some slides in some of that too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, let's start.
There you go.
Okay,
great. Yeah,
and you guys can run these slides too. If you hover your mouse over the main screen at the top, you'll have a little bar.
Oh, I see it. I see it there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is essentially our toolkits that we go in to the schools with. And I've got 4 complete kits. John, I think, has 8 complete kits, but John's been an overachiever his whole life, so I just live with that. But at any rate, we'll talk to the kids with the presentation, and we go over some of the benefits of the industry. We talk about life skills. We talk about employability skills. And then we move into the hands-on portion. And this is really the secret sauce that John likes to call it, because
getting them involved.
This is where the kids put their hands on the equipment.
Right, they do something with their hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, and depending on the time that we have, because all classrooms are a little bit different. Like today I had 48-minute classes. So I was able to get through my presentation, and then we had the kids basically take a piece of copper, sand it, right, clean off the inside of a fitting, and then flux it, put the fitting on there, put it into the stand, and then actually solder that. So they're playing with MAP gas fire. I mean, it's
wait a minute. What age group? High schoolers?
Yeah.
You mean you get to tell high school kids that they get a light a torch and do something in? Oh, that's like everyone would sign up for that.
Yeah, I always leave my session with, you guys get to play with fire today. So just pay attention for a few minutes, and we're going to get to that.
Well, we get some pushback from the industry saying, well, if we go to the high school, they're not going to let us do anything hands-on. Here's a perfect example of, no, the schools want this. There's a person, I'm so glad she joined us today. Katie Donahue is at Jefferson College. She has a program called From Tutus to Tool Belts, where she takes middle school girls and does a program like this, introducing them to hands-on exercises. And it's grown by leaps and bounds. And that's exactly what you're talking about, is being able to go do hands-on introductory into HVAC. Because all they learn about HVAC typically is, like the equipment side, right? Here's what these things are. They don't learn that, oh, my hands get to create this profession. That's what sets your program apart.
Yeah. And, Greg talked, we share a PowerPoint, but we really try to keep it to a minimum. Generally we might talk 15 minutes and we try to make it interesting, but then it's all about getting back into the shop area and teaching them how to cut and how to solder and how to flare copper, and, talking about good practices, and actually building something. Greg shared in the shorter session, we'll just have them cut a 6-inch piece of copper. They'll put a flare on one end, and then we'll solder a coupling onto the other end. And then the kids, I can't tell you how many kids go, oh my gosh, can I keep this? And we say, well, of course you can. So think about it. They're taking that little soldered piece of copper and flared piece of copper home, and their parents are asking them, what'd you do in school today? And they're showing them, well, I learned about HVAC and I made this. So they're already introduced to the craft. And think about this too, Clifton, the contractors that collaborate with us in the classroom, they're giving back to their community, and every one of those students' families have a home with an HVAC system that might need their services someday. So there's just so many residual benefits of doing this in the outreach and giving back to the community.
That's exactly it. Fun. Yeah, you're building a community. I love this. And so in this manual too, I'm going to jump over real quick, just show people one of the things that you do. You actually build exercises. So this is the high school copper assembly, and you're going through an entire curriculum. This is a mini curriculum for best practices. This is no different than I would do in a class for contractors, in a class for college students. This is the fundamentals of what we do. And so you're actually introducing all of that right there in the classroom in the high school, getting them exposed to it. It's a life changer for some of these young minds, I imagine.
It is. And it's a 27-step process. And you have to follow the manual. You have to follow the instructions from step 1 to step 27. It's very, sequential. And it's amazing. I mean, a lot of these tools, they've never used them before. They've never used a tubing bender. They've certainly never used a hand flaring device, much less known how to solder copper. And so we're actually right there helping the students and teaching them as we go. It is so fun.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for joining us. Very cool, from Trinidad. We always love to know how large our community is growing, because you're part of this international community. We have a lot of people that'll join because we're doing this, right? We're showing that this is an amazing industry. it's been so good to all of us, and we want to share that with the world. We want to help the world understand that this is a very intriguing career, and if we can be exposed to it at a young age, it changes the perspective of what we could do in life, especially when you're sharing some of those statistics, because you get them to have fun and you go, oh, by the way, you can make really good money doing this stuff that you're having fun right now doing.
So Clifton, this picture here, the fella on the left watching the young man soldering, he's with a company called Wolf Heating and Air Conditioning out of Door County, Wisconsin. They are so engaged and so supportive of this that we visited, that company and me and our territory manager, we've been to 3 different high schools this year together.
Wow. So a contractor working directly with you as a distributor to build the program at the high schools.
Yep. I arranged the first one. They had so much fun. They were so engaged. They said, oh my gosh, will you do some more with us? And I said, well, of course I will. So now they are just so excited and thrilled. And the fun thing is that the high schools that they built relationships with, it's going to be a recurring thing. The beauty of this is once they get established with their local high school, this particular company right now has 2 youth apprentices that came from these high schools that are actually entry-level techs working on their team while they're completing their high school degree. And then when they graduate, there's a very strong likelihood they're going to remain as long-term employees of these companies.
Yeah, so true. Jonathan, I would love for you to share some of your experience. Love to reconnect later. One of the things that I truly enjoy doing is learning about our community abroad, ways we can all help each other and help these next generations. And so, if you get a chance, I'll connect with you later on LinkedIn. I'd love to get some stories because we can all offer this. I mean, I look at this and go, this is every technician in the field has the ability to do this experience. And could you imagine the pipeline of adjunct instructors if we could get the contractors doing this, working with their distributors to get into the classrooms?
Oh my gosh.
John has a vision that each one of our 270 dealers that buy from Auer Steel actually would have a relationship with their local high school.
Why not?
And absolutely. And so we do what we can to facilitate that. But my gosh, that would be so powerful if we could ever get to that. That would be fantastic.
I can only imagine it's growing right now by doing this. You're supplying the pipeline. Every contractor in the United States, and I imagine every contractor in the world right now is going, I need good help. Well, what if you were a part of creating the pipeline for your own help and you could direct it? And there is one slide in particular. I want to jump forward and then I'm going to come back. I think it was in this one. No. Oh man, I just ruined it for everybody. We'll come back and talk about it. It's in the other one. Hold on just a second. Cause this is what gets me excited when I see, where are you? When you have the opportunity as a contractor and a distributor to introduce best practices at their very introduction to HVAC, it can only get better from there versus getting someone out in the field who hasn't had proper training, hasn't had the best practices. I'm one of those candidates, right? I learned from the field. I didn't realize how many bad practices I had until I became an instructor. I'm still learning. I got called out last week on one of my bad practices. It's a growing part of all of us. But if we start with a firm foundation, we're only going to get better. And so by doing this, you already have the whole template. All a contractor has to do is partner with a distributor, go to a school and go, this is what we're going to do. And you're going to learn some best practices and you're going to have fun. I would say that you could take some of these high schoolers after a few of these classes and you have a helper already on installations.
Absolutely.
Because they've already got that foundational introduction into it.
In addition to those printed instructions you were just showing, John in Milwaukee has produced a professional video that basically puts those instructions into a video content so anybody can access that as well.
Right. Yeah, and Clifton, everything that we're sharing today, we're an open book. Anybody that wishes to contact Greg or me, we'll share all of this information and materials with them. Greg said it earlier, the rising tide raises all ships. And we truly believe that if we could get more folks in our industry to do this kind of grassroots outreach at their local community level, just think of the impact we could have in terms of creating awareness to the next generation about the incredible opportunities that our industry has to offer. So, we truly you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You're welcome to take, the work that we've already done and just duplicate it.
Amazing stuff, guys. I am so thrilled that I've had the chance to meet you in these last few weeks, because this is so exciting. I mean, this is the way we can change our path, because we're going to have a demand for advanced technicians like we have never needed in the past, right? Things have changed so quickly and are going to continue to change that we're going to, as an industry, need some highly skilled technicians, and a lot of them coming into the industry. And if we can do this and introduce them, we have a chance of success. So let's talk about some of your classes. I know, so you're doing these one-day workshops. You also have your own technician program. So like if I was a high schooler and I went to one of your classes and now I'm getting out of school and I'm thinking, okay, I'd like to dabble a little bit deeper into this. Tell me about some of the classes you're doing.
So let me talk about our 5-day entry-level maintenance tech program. So we host that at our Milwaukee Training Center. It's literally intended for, could be a recent high school graduate, or maybe a person who was downsized and is starting a whole new career and decided they wanted to explore HVAC. So they might know what the initials HVAC mean, but other than that, they have no awareness of our profession. And so we built a training center. We're 3 years into it now. At our training center, our classes are intended for up to 12 students. And the reason it's up to 12 is we have 12 fully functioning HVAC systems in a structure, so we can offer training, year round. We typically host the 5-day class once a month. And the way that this class works is they show up on Monday morning. We give them the keys to a locker. In the lockers, every tool, every gauge, combustion analyzer, everything that they're going to need to participate in the training for the week. We issue them an iPad, and we dispatch and push all their work orders to them using Field Edge, because we're wanting to introduce them to, field management software that the industry embraces and utilizes. And we start them out on Monday morning, and we introduce them to the sequence of operation of a furnace. We are very process driven, so we have a very structured curriculum, and it's all about teaching them the correct way to do the various roles in the industry. So Monday morning, we introduce them to basic electricity, Ohm's law, AC/DC current. We teach them how to use a multimeter. On day 4, we do the furnace teardown exercise and the rebuild. The whole focus is on commissioning and furnace maintenance. So our vision is when they leave on Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, Monday morning, we could put them in a service truck and they could go out and do furnace clean and tune maintenance calls on day 1 and be a revenue generator. And we are doing it successfully.
Yeah, these are those transitional career trainings that we are going to need a lot of. All you have to do is open up social media, and every career you see the scare, right? Everyone's worried that they're going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, except for us.
Yeah.
And we're just growing because of it, because it's giving us more time to do the physical side of things and allowing the documentation and the analytical side to be done by automations. So we're going to see an influx of transitional careers in these next few years. Educated people, hopefully they have mechanical skills already, at least basic mechanical skills. And they look at the HVAC and refrigeration industry and go, okay, I would like to explore this. How long is it going to take for me to explore it? Well, how would you like to explore it in 5 days and see if it's for you?
Yeah, it's really been impactful, Clifton. Literally, it's 40 hours of training, hands-on with 2 instructors that give them their intimate attention, which is why we limit it to 12.
Yeah.
And the success rate and the quality level of students that we're putting out of this program is really remarkable.
Man, oh man. There's got to be questions from the audience. I see many educators on here right now, some of which have actually asked me, or I've been in rooms where the questions have been asked, how do I work closer with high schools? How do I do, better, deeper outreaches with local high schools? And now I have the challenge for all of you. Look beyond your high schools, and now let's think about your middle schools. How many of your local middle schools have you reached out to? So if you don't mind, like, what is the approach? Because that has to be intimidating for someone who has never approached a school before and is watching this going, you know what? I can do this. So whether I'm a contractor, a distributor, or an educator, where do I begin?
Well, so we belong to an organization called the Technical Educators Association. Every state has a chapter, and it's a chapter of technical education teachers for middle schools and high schools in each state. So for us, that was really our initial introduction to doing outreach to high schools, that the technical education department, these teachers are the most receptive, and that's the audience that, generally speaking, who Greg and I reach out to. So I would encourage everybody, whatever state you're in, is Google and look for your state's Technical Educators Association and become involved. We attend their annual trade meeting, which is usually in Wisconsin. We have 400 teachers that show up for that event, and Greg gets several hundred in Minnesota. But those are the teachers, those are the people that we built our relationships with, that invite us to come back year after year after year.
Yeah. In addition to that, if I get a request to go into a specific high school and I don't have a contact, it's grassroots. I just go to the high school's website and they've got a list of all the teachers, and I identify the career technical education CTE teachers, and I just send them an email, introduce myself, tell them what I'm offering, and the response is phenomenal.
Greg, has anyone ever said no to you?
No.
100%.
Except you when I asked for a raise, but I mean, that was something else, I guess. So,
I love you guys. I'm telling you what, this could be a regular show here. This is,
Sure.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. It is exciting, Tony or Tanya. I'm sorry. Yeah, when you think about like how this changes, right? How this can develop for a company, it is a partnership, right? We have the responsibility to be a growth for the industry.
Absolutely.
We all have that ability to give back. Tanya, I'm challenging you to reach out. Every contractor has the opportunity to work with their distributor, to work with their local schools, to help prepare those students for what the contractor needs in the field. Too many times, our advisory boards, the only participants are construction contractors that are looking for installers only, and it ends up that that's what they focus on. They don't look at the fundamentals. They don't look at the service side. And so many programs are driven by what is being asked of them. And if we could be involved, if we can help guide that, if we could be adjunct instructors where we're donating a little bit of time back to our community, it's going to make all of us more successful. Yeah, you got Katie excited too. I was just talking to them, Katie. They're not going to be here for the conference. I'm hoping that they'll be there next year, because it's a lot of like-minded professionals just like us that are trying to make a difference in the world and in the community. And we can all do it a little bit at a time, because that little bit that we do can go a very long way.
So Clifton, a quick story. So Monday,
please,
I'll be at a high school in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and their community is so supportive of CTE programs that they initiated a referendum, and then they did outreach to the local industry and trade and construction professionals, and they built a facility called ACE Academy, which is Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. So it's an extension of the local high school on campus, and it's all focused on construction trades. And last year, so I've been working with an HVAC contractor called Air Tech Heating and Air Conditioning out of Fond du Lac. Their owners are Jim and Sarah Price. And Jim and Sarah are so committed to the high school program. Right now, they have 40 employees. 7 of their full-time employees all came from ACE Academy as juniors and seniors in high school that came to work for them as youth apprentices, and are now full-time permanent employees of Airtech heating and air conditioning. So last year, Auer Steel, we donated 3 furnaces, and then Airtech donated the labor and the installation materials and supplies.
Sure.
And so we added an HVAC curriculum at ACE Academy. And so Monday, Jim and I are going to spend the entire day with 7 seniors and doing our HVAC workshop on campus right there at the ACE Academy. But it's so fun because the teacher is a gentleman named Vern Widmer. And Vern has created a pipeline of talent for Jim. So I'll get a phone call from Vern and he'll go, John, I have 2 really good ones. Do you think Jim will be interested? So then I'll call Jim and I'll go, Jim, Vern just called me. He's got 2 more. What do you think? And Jim goes, I'll take them. And I said, are you sure? And he said, I'm afraid to say no.
Right.
So it's just amazing. So here's this local company. Literally at this point, it's almost 20% of his entire workforce all came because of his relationship with the local high school. And it all started with our basic fundamentals of HVAC 45-minute workshop.
Well, think about that contractor that's looking for talent, right? All contractors are looking for talent. And to be able to donate some time to that program, and out of that, you also get to see the quality of the students coming through, right? If you're doing that installation in the classroom, those students are going to want to participate in that as well. And if you see students that come up and want to help install gas lines on a furnace, guess who's coming to work for me when they get out of this program?
Right.
Very cool. Yeah. And I'm going to go back to one of the other slides here in a minute, and I'll put it at the end too, because Tanya was very interested in connecting with you guys. And I think that's going to be an important part of, going forward, is that, we continue that excitement. We continue to show people that, this is for everyone. Everyone has the opportunity to develop. As a contractor, we can grow our business. As an educator, we can grow our business. Many times as educators, we don't think about our program as being a business. It absolutely is a business. We're in the job of developing minds and placing them in careers. And if I can form these partnerships with my local distributor as well as my local contractor, and I can get 100% placement of my students that complete the program because they were interested and they were mentored along the way, we all know how that looks when we have that high a placement. So it is a win-win for everyone. All right, let's get back to some stories because you guys have got them. So you have even filled some of your own employment positions from students that have went through your programs.
We have, and Greg has kind of a fun story about our staff at our Twin Cities location. Greg was Sam. Sam.
Oh, so a quick story about my son, Sam. He's 23 years old. When he graduated high school, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. And so he went to the HVAC industry, went to Dunwoody High School in college, Dunwoody in Minneapolis there, graduated with his HVAC degree, went to work for one of our dealers in the Twin Cities here, spent a couple years in the field and really learned the trade, and came to realize that he's like, I think I want something a little different. I said, well, that'll happen. And he applied for a job at our company in our hydronics department. So now he's working as an inside sales rep at Auer Steel in hydronics. And I'm like, Sam, you would have never got this job had you not gotten the experience and the education you got earlier. So, even if being a technician your entire career isn't in the books for you, the experience that you gain opened up these doors for you. And so, I mean, it's like the gates open wide once you decide to commit to the industry, even if you want to, move into something else.
Especially when you're shown these paths.
Yeah, right.
Like you'd also had mentioned earlier, students that have ended up in the engineering side just by being exposed to HVAC.
Yeah. And, when we're doing outreach, honestly, our focus is we're trying to help our contractors. You think about them, they're small business owners, HVAC, trade professionals, they're wearing all the hats in their businesses. They're very busy. It's 24/7, 365. It is not an easy profession in terms of owning and operating your own business. So, our desire is to help them. So part of the reason that we're doing the outreach to high schools and colleges is to try to help fill our contractors, our clients' pipeline with talent. And so that really is our focus. But every once in a while, we end up having the good fortune of finding students that decide to join our team. So currently, it's really fun. We have a young man named Elias Voss, who I met 4 years ago when Elias was going to high school at a Schwabnon High School in Green Bay. And honestly, I didn't remember when I first met Elias, but then senior year, Elias reached out to me in May, so very close to graduation, to let me know that he was trying to get into Northeast Wisconsin Tech Colleges, which is one of the tech colleges I serve on the advisory board for.
You bet.
And Elias said, "Do you think you can help me?" I said, "Well, it just so happens I serve on the board, so let me talk to Leon Charnetsky."
Yeah.
And
One of our top 25 educators will be at the conference this year. Fantastic.
Yeah. So I reached out to Leon. He said, "John, make sure Elias shows up at our open house on Friday night. Make sure he meets me and the other teacher." So Monday morning, I get a phone call and it's Elias. And Elias is all excited. Couldn't wait to tell me that. Went to the open house on Friday night. And Monday morning, Leon called and said Elias went from number 14 on the waiting list to being in the program.
Fantastic.
So fast forward, it was a 2-year associate degree program. So last May, Elias graduated from the program, and we happened to be at the classroom that day presenting to the students and talking about, what's going to happen now after you graduate. And Elias comes up afterwards and said, I've been working for a contractor in Green Bay, but I really am interested in your engineering department at your location. Do you guys think that you would interview me for a job? So I reached out to our engineering manager, said, I have this young student who's going to be graduating from NWTC. And they interviewed Elias, and so Elias joined our team. So how fun is that? It was, we truly weren't trying to recruit, but we were blessed and had this entry-level engineering specialist now on our team, and it's all because of high school outreach that started 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, I want to tack onto that just real quickly too, because John had alluded to something earlier. So we do spend a lot of time with high school students and junior high students, and there we really give them a hands-on, experience. But we also go into existing HVAC programs and talk to students who are already committed to the industry, right? They've already decided that they're going to go into HVAC, and then we have a sort of a different conversation with that group, because we like to have a contractor come with us, one who ideally is hiring,
right.
But also just to say, here you are, you've decided to get into this industry, you're going to school for it, but you really don't understand what a day in the life is like. And so we try to go through the whole day in the life thing, what to expect when you actually get to be employed in this industry. Wow. And what are some of the expectations of you as an employee, right? And so we really try and cover all the bases there.
And you guys get paid to do this?
Yes.
That's a wonderful company to work for.
Yeah, don't tell John I'd probably do this for free.
Yeah, don't tell you.
No, Clifton, one of the things I always tell high school kids and college kids, I like that saying, if you can make a career out of doing something that you love, you never work a day in your life. And I tell the kids, Greg and I, we love what we do. We're really blessed. We work for a very nice company that appreciates and recognizes the importance of doing this stuff, but we also genuinely enjoy our jobs. So I'm always careful when I talk to the students. I say, I'm not necessarily here to recruit you. I'm just educating and informing you on a potential career path. But if this is something that you aspire to do, then by all means, reach out to me and we will do everything we can to help you. But it really is a gratifying job. We're very fortunate.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that all of us instructors can agree on, that we enjoy being servants to our community. We enjoy being able to build that next generation. And what we're doing here today is we're handing you all, our audience, the tools to be able to do that. If you're here, it's because you had an interest. If you're watching this, it's because you had an interest in what we had to say about recruitment. You're looking for tools and resources. And that's what it's about. It's about picking up new tools. Many of us as educators, we're technicians in the field. A lot of us get recruited from the field. We were very comfortable with the tools that were in our tool bags and in our backpacks and in our vehicles, our vans when we were out in the field. When we come into the classroom, we have a whole lot of new tools to pick up, and some tools we've never encountered before. And so these type of resources is what empowers us to be able to take our knowledge and take our passion to that next step. Learning from experience, how these tools work. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of outreach happening because of this conversation.
Well, and I would encourage people find Greg and I on LinkedIn too, because we're pretty active on LinkedIn in an effort to share what we're doing in hopes that other people will want to participate as well. So we truly are an open book. And if you have any questions, call us and we'll share everything that we can to help you, launch your own initiative to do outreach at the local level.
And I'm going to pull up your guys' primary website too, so that everyone can see it, because this is not just an outreach that you're doing. You have your own training. Tell me about some of the classes, some of the things that you offer in your own classrooms.
Are you asking us,
Yeah.
Clifton? Yeah. So so right now our spring curriculum, we have 62 classes that we're hosting throughout our footprint at our 2 training locations. We're doing everything from basic hydronics to extensive geothermal training, AC and heat pump training. Our 5-day entry-level maintenance class we offer on a monthly basis. We do fundamentals of electricity. And the majority of our classes are live, in-person, hands-on training. But we also have an extensive offering of virtual training as well. We also have a free LMS. Yeah, that's our training catalog. So that's our spring offering right there. We also have an LMS, a learning management system, with hundreds of pre-recorded. Almost all of our classes are recorded. And then we have a videographer that works on staff, and we edit, and some of them are SCORM content, and then we post them for free on our learning management system. So most of our training is offered at no charge. The learning management library content is offered free of charge.
Man, that is fantastic.
Yeah, you'll see rooftop economizers made easy. One of our most popular classes is our basic electricity training.
Yeah, that is something that we see a lot of in the field is weak when it comes to training and education, is basic electrical. And it's the foundation of our entire industry. And so for me, that is, I think, one of the most important classes that we can offer.
Yeah, we have an extensive offering of training, and we host it at all of our locations. A lot of times we'll actually take it on the road. Typically, our anchor locations are Minneapolis, our Madison, Wisconsin, our Neenah, and then our Milwaukee locations are our principal operations, where we have training rooms to host on site.
Very nice.
But you can see it's a pretty extensive curriculum. We publish this book every spring and every fall.
You're right. It is amazing. It's very inspiring to be able to see, distributors really recognizing the importance. And as a company, Auer Steel has recognized that importance of investing back into the industry. And I sure hope that your effort continues, because it is the most noble deed that I have witnessed from a distributor. And I was involved with a distributor that did training and education, but did not have the commitment to outreach that you guys have done. So I would encourage anyone in the audience that wants to learn more about Auer Steel, wants to learn about the programs, especially if you're a contractor in the Auer Steel area and you're going, wait a minute, I didn't know they did this. I need to go find out more. This is an opportunity to grow and be a part of this community together. We still got a few more minutes left. Anyone have any questions from the audience? Please put those into the chat. I've had quite a bit of a participation today. It's been a great conversation, guys. What's next on your calendars? Both of you have been out to schools today. How often are you actually going out and visiting schools?
Greg?
At least weekly.
Yeah, really.
It depends. You've got your high points and your low points, but we basically go, especially with now that we're getting to the point where we're going back to schools that have had us in years past. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like, okay, I'm coming up to the first week of March. I know that these 2 schools are going to reach out to me because this is when I normally go.
Yeah, and it's typically during the school year. So just for example, me next week on Monday, I'm going to be at Ace Academy in Fond du Lac. On Wednesday, I'm going to be at Marshfield High School for the first time, working with a new client up there. And then on Thursday next week, we're taking our entry level, our high school workshop. we're taking it on the road. So we're bringing our electrical trainers. A local contractor is going to bring 3 furnaces in, and then I'm bringing my 8 soldering and flaring complete copper assembly building stations, and we're going to start it. And this school is treating it as an in-school field trip. So we're going to start at 8 a.m. and we're going to have the students until 2:30 and do our entire one-day high school workshop on campus at a high school in Wausau, Wisconsin.
And I seen on here, you actually have mobile training trailers as well. I've seen that in one of these presentations. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we do. We have a hydronics mobile trailer that we take on the road. So we can go to a contract. We could go to a technical college to host remotely training about hydronics. We have an indoor air quality solution trainer that basically has that same capability. And then for one of our brands, which is AirQuest, we have a trailer that's completely outfitted with HVAC systems, ductless, fully functioning furnace, and an air conditioner. And so we can actually go to a contractor's place of business, pull it into the parking lot, and host live training right there on site, hands-on in our trainers.
Well, you guys are really setting the bar out here.
Well, and you know what? The other thing, the only way it would be possible to offer the level of training that we host is to have a really talented technical support and training staff. So we actually have a staff of 7 people that report to a gentleman by the name of Mike Breen that are all, industry experts, some of the best of the best. The gentleman that works at our training center in Milwaukee, our Woolworth Training Center, he had 22 years in the field as a serviceman and an installer, made a radical career change, came to work for Auer Steel, and is our on-site trainer at our training center. And his name's Tim Hag, and Tim never had any, formal training experience, but, is just found a way to share his industry wisdom, and with our help and guidance has really become an amazing trainer. So that's the secret sauce for us, is you really need those people that have, the passion to share their story with others. If it wasn't for that crew, we wouldn't be able to offer the training that we offer at Auer Steel.
You bet. Successful passion. Well, gentlemen, I sure appreciate you so much. This has been a wonderful conversation. I would invite you back anytime. This is the kind of conversations as an industry we need to have. We need to be realistic that we have a significant shortage of technicians in the industry. Howard and I have been spending a lot of time with research and conversations on the development of data centers in the United States and the amount of highly skilled technicians that are going to be required just for the installation and maintenance of those alone. So now is a great industry, and in the future, it's going to be an even higher skill, which typically higher skill is higher pay.
Yep.
So a lot of opportunities, and supporting each other like this is the way that we can make this happen. So guys, I really appreciate your time. I thank everyone for joining us today. I hope that you follow up, learn more about Auer Steel and the program that they have going on. And we will see you all again next week on Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show.
Thank
Bye,
you
everybody.
so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity.